Welcome back, headbangers. Today, I'm spinning the wax with Chelsea Murphy and Tony Thomas of Oakland's Dawn of Ouroboros, and we're listening to Heretoir's The Circle. Don't go anywhere. It all starts right now. Hello, metalheads, and welcome back to Spinning the Wax, where we listen to your favorite artists' favorite records. My name is John Garcia, aka Stay Puft, the Metal Marshmallow, and your friendly neighborhood headbanger. Today, I'm joined by vocalist Chelsea Murphy and guitarist Tony Thomas of Dawn of Ouroboros, a progressive blackened death metal band out of Oakland, California. You will hear me butcher this name about 100 times during this episode because my tongue and my brain just can't seem to line up on the proper syllables to speak. You know, great professional word talker here, everybody. Tony and Chelsea bring on a 2017 album from German post-black metal band Heretoir called The Circle. Despite only coming out a few years before Dawn's debut album called The Art of Morphology, this album inspired Tony and Chelsea so much that it directly influenced the trajectory of their own band. They talk about how much The Circle means to them and what they've taken away from it both musically and personally. If you haven't listened to Heretoir before, this is a band that fans of Alcest, Lantlos, and or Harakiri for the Sky might definitely be interested in. They also dive into Dawn of Ouroboros' brand new album, Bioluminescence, which is just a fantastic piece of progressive black metal, and in my opinion, is the band realizing and coming into the potential of the sound that they've been developing over the last few albums. We discuss creating music on feel, how Chelsea's, quote, soul leaves her body when she's improvising the lyrics for these songs, and how they almost didn't include one of the best songs on this new album because it was so different than their previous material. They were a little nervous that people might not respond to it, and spoiler alert, it went over very well. We also chat about the painstaking process of sequencing an album, the different levels of doom jazz, and Chelsea's love for both Creed and Scott Stapp. We're also joined periodically by Chelsea's wonderful and beautiful cat, Persephone, who just has so many different opinions on Heretoir. If you haven't checked out Dawn of Ouroboros just yet, and you love luscious, progressive black metal with lots of shade and dynamics and cleans and guitar solos and all of that good shit, go give them a shot. Each album is better than the last, and Bioluminescence is so far the best thing that they've done. It'll be available on March 7th via Prosthetic Records, and it is well worth your time. And while you're at it, give Spinning the Wax here a like and subscribe, and consider heading over to patreon.com/spinningthewax to support the show directly, where you can get early access to these videos, uncut versions of the show to listen to the album along with, as well as weekly new music updates and so much more. Thank you so much for your support so far, for listening to this episode and checking out these bands. Without further ado, this is episode 14 of Spinning the Wax, where Dawn of Ouroboros listens to Heretoir's The Circle. Please welcome Tony and Chelsea from Dawn of Ouroboros. I cannot say the name every single time. It's like Ouroboros, Ouroboros, Aurora Borealis, I don't know. Tony and Chelsea, welcome, my friends.
Thanks for having us. So we say Ouroboros, but my understanding is Ouroboros is also a correct pronunciation.
Yeah, well, if anything is correct, then we'll just go like whatever your heart tells you, dear listener. It is never wrong. But yeah, thank you for stopping on Spinning the Wax and going to listen to this album that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I want to know about what you guys have been up to lately. I know, obviously, you're getting ready to release a new album, your third album, Bioluminescence. And I know have been writing and crafting that for the past little bit. So catch me up on what's been going on in 2024 and going on into 2025, my friends.
So basically we spent the first almost half of last year finishing up the album between a bunch of vocal recording and putting on bass. So some of the last things we did, as well as the production work. And then we're really excited to work with some new people. You want to plug in his name?
Oh, yeah. We worked with an engineer from the UK, Lewish Johns, who's done bands such as like Svalbard and Rollo Tomasi and stuff.
Hell yeah.
His production just sounds really huge. So that's why we went with him. And we're very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, no, I've listened to the album. I've had it for a couple weeks now,
Yeah.
and basically from what I thought I was hearing on the first album feels like it's now kind of really starting to be realized as a band. And, you know, nothing against your last couple of albums or anything like that, but I feel like this album blows those two out of the water as far as just like everything that it delivers. And I know, like, I've seen y'all on socials being like talking about how proud you are of this album and like excited to get it out and everything like that. And I can say as a listener, like, I can absolutely see why.
That is always good to hear.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Personally, I like to be cautiously optimistic and, you know, like
of course
have something we really believe in, but like
we're great. We suck.
Until it gets out there.
Yes, exactly. Because now you're sitting on everything, and you're listening to everything, and being like, "Oh shit, should we have changed this thing? Should we have done this or whatever?" But I can tell, you know, we'll probably talk about, you know, some of the songs on the album, and I'll want to ask you some like process questions about it when we start getting into listening to the album we're going to get to. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and obviously considering how dense the band is in general, just like the last albums have revealed stuff to them, to like the listener and to me over time. I know that this one is going to do that as well. So it's like, you know, I don't want to talk about it too much after, you know, only having listened to it for a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm excited for other people to hear it as well.
It's good to hear. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So before we get into any more of that and, you know, start, you know, talking about your band and everything like that, we're here to talk about another, you know, blackened, gazy, you know, kind of huge cinematic band in Heretoir from Germany. The Circle is the album that Chelsea, you and Tony have chosen today. And I'll start with you, Chelsea, first. Why is this album one that you wanted to, you know, have people experience and listen to and talk about?
So this is one of my favorite albums of all time, personally. So I've listened to it countless times, and it still captivates me the same way. It completely is like an oasis for me when I'm listening. I love singing along with it too. Like, yeah, it's just so much fun and absolutely painful and beautiful. And, you know, just everything I could ever want out of an album. But for me, yeah, that's why I was like, we should do that one, because I feel like I feel like they're on the rise, but they're not as well known as, like, you know, if I picked like an Alcest album, like a lot of people have probably heard it. I love Alcest, but, you know, I want to bring some love to some artists that have been in my ears for years that haven't quite gotten the recognition I feel they deserve. So that's another reason why I was like, we should do that album. So too excited, throwing things.
Yeah, fuck yeah. No, I love that, because that's one of the reasons why I let, you know, artists and guests pick what they want to pick, because yeah, I mean, we've done Soundgarden, we've done big bands on here, but sometimes we've done bands that not a whole lot of people have heard about. And it's interesting because when y'all like mentioned this, it was only a couple of months ago that I started diving into them, because I was listening to Sylvain, and then on like the, you know, the next artists or whatever on my Apple Music, it was like, hey, listen to that. And I saw their previous album, the was it Nightbound or Night something? I'd have to look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Night Sphere.
Yeah,
Night Sphere. That's the one. Thank you very much.
That's their most recent one.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And I saw the album art, and I was like, you know, fans of Sylvain, okay, like click. And I started exploring them after that. So it was kind of like a nice timing thing with that, as far as like this band had just kind of gotten into my sphere and my ears as well. Tony, let me ask you the same question. Why did you agree to do this one as well?
I would say I would put this album on the same level that she does. It's probably one of the two albums that really got me introduced into post-metal and the level of atmosphere and emotion that can go along with that, while still incorporating various black metal elements, which I love. So like black metal style blast beats are always going to be my favorite drum beat.
Mm.
And I would say this was really my introduction to like having that paired with such emotional, harmonic, and melodic sensibilities, and just how those two aspects of music can work together to just really make something impactful and cinematic and more meaningful.
Yeah, and when I listen to this one, you know, Chelsea, you mentioned the lyrics and how they're kind of like just so, oh, like I don't know,
Yeah.
just exactly, you know what I mean. Even like the last song, the title track on that, we'll talk about that when that comes. But those lyrics are just so poignant, and after like an hour of the music that Tony you were talking about,
Yeah.
where you don't even need to read the lyrics to like feel the emotion in the screams and in the chord progressions like you were saying. And what I think is interesting is how we're here in 2025, so it's not too long where this is a decade old album now, which is crazy to think about. But even still, 2017 for at least me, and I'm sure for you too as well, doesn't really feel like that long ago when you think
Yeah.
about it. You know,
The pandemic
yeah,
definitely
exactly.
took
It's
years
just-
from us.
it just it folded time in half, so it's like we're at that much, but it feels like that. But I think it's interesting that, I mean, I know that Dawn of Ouroboros' album was 2020 when that first came out, but you know that's only a few years to get so inspired by this album to really start working that into the band that you all now have. Do you like talk to me a little bit about that, like, because had your guys' band been a thing when you were listening to that, or did that come after?
For me, I definitely like I had to study black metal a little bit before really performing for Dawn of Ouroboros, like creating it, as I was really not sure what I wanted my sound to be, and I hadn't done anything in this style before. And they're one of the albums that I listened to that kind of like really got me there, and I was like, I get it now, like I understand. And so for me, it's just like that revelation of, oh, I can't get enough, like I need more. Prior to that, it was like black metal, who listens to that? But like, you know what I mean? It's just like they make it so tasteful.
Yeah.
I know this guy.
Tony, did you have anything to add to that as far as like being, because I know obviously you didn't start playing guitar in 2017, right? So you'd already had this long, my God, hello, what is the cat's name?
Persephone.
Oh my God, Persephone is a beautiful name for a cat, and that is an adorable sweater that you're wearing, Persephone.
Yeah, she's quite stylish.
Yep.
She wanted to come in for her interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, she is going to give us all of the ups and downs about Heretoir that we will not believe.
She has many thoughts.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
what
okay.
was the
Sorry.
question again?
I don't even remember if I had gotten it out. Basically, so you had been experiencing guitar prior to hearing this album, and then you said that this kind of, moved you in a different way. So did this kind of open the door for like finding a whole different style of guitar for your playing, or were you kind of still in that extreme technical death metal playing before you heard this album?
So I started playing guitar when I was 20, which is about 20 years ago. At the time, in high school, I was really into like the Norwegian black metal and Mayhem and Emperor and various other bands from that scene, and a lot of the melodic Swedish bands. I was just really into listening to that, and then I started to get into bands such as Cynic, Atheist, and Death, specifically Individual Thought Patterns by Death, and hearing those albums are what initially inspired me to play guitar. And then, as a beginning musician, the black metal stuff was easy. So I started learning with that. And, I've gone through so many different phases of what I've been played over the years, from like mathcore, like Dillinger's Gate Plan stuff, and attempting to do more technical stuff, but I could never really get the physical ability right. But I would always go back to something that had some sort of association with black metal, as like, this is my subgenre of metal that I connect with the most. And I discovered Heretoir before starting Dawn of Ouroboros. I would definitely say that it was an influence on the music that I write, and more approaching writing music from, chord usage rather than trying to do like flashy riffs or something. Just more harmonically focused. And
Yeah, and I know when we spoke last time, feel was a big word that you use when you guys write your music. Is right, you're just trying to get that emotion and what feels good and what feels natural in there. And definitely, I think that Heretoir uses that as well. So I just thought I'll pick your brain a little bit more about your guitar playing and stuff like that as we get into the album and stuff like that. I was just curious because knowing that this album again wasn't all that long ago, and yet here it is, influencing a band that is now on their third album. It's really fucking cool, Well, let's do it. I'm gonna stop running my mouth a little bit so we can just like get into the music. So, my friends, this is The Circle by Heretoir. Do y'all listen to music by like season?
not really, not me personally. No.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
more
I
in
was-
vision color, like while I'm listening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like the album color or their album art for this album is pretty good representation of the colors that like I envision when I'm like listening to this album.
Do you have a bit of synesthesia, or is it just like what you see in your mind's eye?
I would say it's more like when I'm really taken away in an album is when I like start feeling color and associating with emotion and like, I wouldn't say that I'm, I walk around like, oh, the colors everywhere.
Yeah, sure. Well, no, I was curious because I have interviewed some musicians with synesthesia.
Oh,
and,
interesting.
They're it was really funny. They're saying like, oh yeah, this one sludge band looks really like brown and green, like what you would expect sludge to look like. I was like, oh wow, cool. I was just curious because like with the warm tones of the like the album colors, it's like to me this feels like a very fall album, but yet here we are in the winter time, and it also has that kind of like brisk shimmer to it that could be like a winter album as well. So I listen to
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like, oh, I have to listen to Insomnium during the winter or anything like that, but certainly when I get feelings of seasons in my music.
It's eternally winter and fall for me,
Oh yeah.
no matter the season. So
Yeah, just the freezing wind of Emperor and Immortal.
Yeah.
So while we're on the subject of being inspired by albums and everything like that, on Bioluminescence, it feels like, and I don't know if this is just from the couple listens that I've felt with it, but it feels like the song structures and the arrangements and everything are tighter than they've been in the past. Was that something that you kind of like put a focus on this time around, and like what were you kind of trying to think of creating when you were like in the room trying to like get this feel for this like new music that you wanted to do?
I think it's just part of growing with experience.
Yeah.
Our first album, the Art of Morphology, was the first album that I had ever written.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been a part of writing like 7 albums now, even if in some other ones I'm just doing like bass or something.
Mm-hmm.
And, just through that experience, it's allowed me to refine my sense of songwriting and, I guess just sort of focusing more on what I want the band to sound like instrumentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I also try to not repeat what we've done before.
Sure.
I always want all of our songs to sound different, but without losing the identity that makes it sound like us.
I love that swell right there.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like black metal meets metalcore in like the most tasteful
A
way.
little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, almost that like genty, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word, like riff that's right there. Yeah, for
A little
sure.
breakdowny. Yeah.
You walk around.
Yeah. It's like you put your hood up and just like, all right, let's
Yeah.
go. I want to do it.
Exactly.
I also feel like maybe, I am a broken record on this a lot, but, third, fourth albums with bands are usually the ones where you see them take that big leap, or at least, find that sound because they're no longer thinking about what they want to sound like or anything. They've had a couple of albums or 3 albums to, write and figure out who they are. And then after that, it's just, okay, now the plane is in the air and we're gliding and we can do everything else from that. Did you kind of find that to be true as well?
you want to speak?
I feel for me, like the first album, I really didn't know what I was a lot of experimentation, and I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever happens, happens, whatever. And then as the albums have kept coming, I think it's more difficult for me because I feel more pressure to
Mm.
like raise the bar. I think I don't know, it's interesting. Like for me, it kind of feels like I'm more stressed out by it, but it's led me to I think some of my best performances being
Y-
more stressed out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and because I imagine that after the first album and after then getting picked up by Prosthetic and stuff like that, have you spent like I guess more time focusing on your voice and like figuring out how to maintain that and develop it and stuff like that than previously? Or like is that one of the reasons why you feel so stressed out?
I mean, honestly speaking, I think before, like during the first album, I was definitely doing vocals a whole lot more than I am now.
Okay.
I think now it's like when I get into shape for tour and I get into shape for doing an album. But it's like I sing all the time, like literally every day I'm singing. So
Hmm.
it's not like I don't know. I guess I'm just not performing as much.
Sure.
It's
And I think that makes
interesting.
sense too, because if, you know, you were still learning black metal and trying to figure out what you were doing with that, it makes sense that you would be doing that more kind of at the start when you're figuring out, because when you get to a certain point, then you're like, well, I don't have to build up anymore because it's just about more maintaining.
Right.
Yeah, maintaining and then I think trying new things. Like on this new album, there's a lot of like every album I try to do something different
Hmm.
where I'm like, oh, that's a new thing for me, like new personal I want to say best, but like just new skill set unlocked or whatever, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
yeah, it's been a wild ride and every album I think I get anxious and then when I'm anxious about it is when somehow a new skill emerges. It's just like such a weird thing.
No, I understand that though, because you're almost I don't know. At some point, because like I suffer from anxiety. I take medicine every day for my anxiety, and at some point, you're just so anxious that the I don't know the autopilot takes over and just like does everything that you need it to
Yeah.
do. Kind of, you know?
And when you're not thinking is when something beautiful happens. That's such
It-
a interesting middle ground to be in. It's
yeah.
like in between worlds.
But that's because I know, not always, but I know, like historically, and with this album, you tend to improvise lyrics and stuff like that when you're
Yeah.
recording. Is that kind of how? Because I have like so many questions about that, which I'm sure many people do. But like, is that something when you're like, okay, you're so anxious, and then you just get wrapped up in the music, and it just kind of lets you go?
Yeah, I think like there's certain songs where like I'm like, oh, this song is just like killing me when I sit down and try to think of something prior, or like I just initial listen and I go, I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm just gonna figure it out in studio. Like it's fine. And then for whatever reason, I don't know how, but that's like worked out. Like so
Yeah.
I would say with Dawn, it's like 60-40 on improv and pre-written and like, I'll go in and like refine things,
Yeah.
but I really enjoy that freedom of being able to improv.
Yeah, and it makes sense when you read the lyrics,
They're
both
kind of wacky.
in this one. Well, and that like yeah, they are, and like and the but also the not even just the lyrics, but even the way that the rhythms and all that other stuff, because the way that some of the beats fall with your vocals don't exactly correspond to where you might think of that. And like Tony, you brought up individual thought patterns, like Chuck Schuldiner in Death did that with his vocal patterns a lot, where you don't the where the words go aren't exactly where the listener is expecting them to go, which always kind of keeps you on edge a little bit and takes you through. So like with all of that and the I hate using the word vague because that sounds like so condescending, but the open and like open interpretation of the lyrics and everything like that.
Mhm.
Because like I know I'm sure that whatever you are meaning in those is only to you, and when I read anything that you've written in the past, it's gonna like I'm gonna get my own meaning from it that you probably had no
Yeah.
fucking idea or anything like that, right?
Yeah, I think there's some things where it's like, okay, that was like a little up the middle, but you know, a lot of times I'll read things back and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I have
Well, I
no
was gonna
idea.
say, do you ever like forget lyrics as far as like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
hearing it back? You're like, I don't know what, like this is out of body. I don't even remember what was going on at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've had to like sit down and be like, oh crap, I gotta isolate my vocal tracks because I have no idea what I said, and then I'll have to write it out and
Yeah.
loop it. And I'll be like, oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, like
Whenever we're transcribing the lyrics for the album, it's a pretty focused listening process.
Yeah.
Isolate. Like, what were you saying here? This part you improvised with to figure out what you're saying.
when I really cared about like everything I was writing, and like I think if you limit yourself to what's just you've written on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
you're trying to make something fit, you might not get the product you want to get or the product that you deserve to get because you're limiting yourself. So you know, it's funny, like something that has become a mantra for me is something Tony's dad actually said, which was, anything too stupid to say is sung. And like I say that to myself all the time when I'm like being too hard on myself. Like, why don't I just be normal and like write all the things out first instead of just saying some weird stuff that's like, oh, weird. I don't know, like, what am I even talking about? But
Yeah. Yeah, but also like that's what makes the band, you know what I mean? Like that's what separates your guys' songs from anybody else's. And it's just like, again, one of those things that when you dive into the band a little bit more, just from listening, like the surface level screams and yells and singings and everything like that, it's really fun to go in. And, you know, someone who, you know, reads a lot, and Chelsea, I know you write a lot as well. It's really fun to just go in and be like, how the fuck deep is this girl's vocabulary? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun for sure. We'll see. Every time we get to the point where we're gonna release an album, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do the next one because I feel like I'm beyond where I was. It was like it's encapsulating a time period for me that is I'm past. So it's hard. By the time you finally get to release it, you're like, but that's not like I'm evolved past that. Like now I want the new version of me to be released, right? Like
yeah, and then you have to talk about it with people like me for the next year or so.
Oh, no. It's great. It's like you just have to stay silent for so long, and you know, a lot of times it's like you deliver it 1 year before it's released, or maybe even more, and you're just like, okay, I guess we wait. It's quiet time, so.
That ending that just went through, that could be on a loop for like 10 minutes and I would still be fine with it. You just like get lost in it every time it plays.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I love this clean tone right here.
So good. Definitely one of their top tracks, I think. Audience agrees.
Yeah, no, I love this song. We're on Golden Dust, right? Yeah, this is so good.
Yeah.
There are a couple of live, like both in studio and live on stage versions out there on YouTube that are like, how in the fuck can these dudes sound like that, like on a stage? What the hell?
Yeah, and then David Conrad, he's just an absolute machine. Being able to do the beautiful guitar that he does, and then also vocals. I love to work with him. If he's listening, work seriously.
You've been hinting at that for a few years.
Yeah, I'm manifesting it.
Dawn and Heretoir tour. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I would love to see this band at Roadburn. I think that they would be a perfect Roadburn band.
Oh yeah, they're so good. I think they play.
I don't know if it's Roadburn, but they've done one of the known European festivals.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, especially knowing, like, seeing some of the guests that are on Heretoir albums and stuff like that. It would make sense. I mean, the Netherlands is just right next door to Germany. So, Chelsea, something you said, Tony, I guess I can start with you first as far as obviously when the Art of Morphology came out, it was pandemic. It was still, and that was an independent release, right? You released that first, and then you got picked up from Prosthetic.
It was actually released through a small, originally German, but then later Finnish label called Natramach.
Okay.
They mainly focus on atmospheric, like black metal stuff. They had. Have you ever heard the band Grima.
Yes, actually, yes, they're very good.
They were with Natramak for a while before. I think they moved over to Napalm.
They did,
recently.
yes.
But yeah, they put out our first album, and was really beneficial to like helping us get our start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. In 2020, in COVID, no touring, no playing live or anything like that. Obviously, since then, new album, there's been several tours and stuff like that. How have you found, putting the live sound together as far as like going from the studio out to stages and stuff like that?
I feel it's always a work in progress. Getting our synths to sit right, like have it like we could just give it to the house engineer. They don't have to do anything. I know it's going to be approximately the right volume to our live mix. And for me personally, especially on the tour we did this recent summer with Fallujah, Persephone, and Volvodinia, that is the longest tour we have done so far. So I had a lot of time to really like hear my live guitar tone, for a month straight through, different venues, and make adjustments to like really refine it to, I'm like, okay, this is a live tone I think I'm going to stick with going forward. I think I have it really like dialed in now. We have it as a backing track, especially on a few of the songs on this album. I think there's so many synth tracks that if we were to have someone performing it, we would need like six.
They would be like,
there were like 6 people, like 6 keyboard players, and with like computers and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
oh yeah.
It just works out better. Like
it'd be like nerds, but like black metal.
That would be pretty cool. Although that does also introduce the possibility for more things to go wrong if you have like 6 synth players going on at the same time.
So it's more there just for atmospheric purposes, and
of course
to give live. I really want like a wall of sound. Feel to how we sound live. Just everything just in your face and huge sounding, and I think we've been able to figure out it pretty well at this point.
Maybe if we had like a huge show one day or something, maybe we could bring in 6 synth players just for fun, just for one time.
Yeah, the 15-year anniversary is when y'all are going to do a orchestral show, with a whole symphony in the background and everything like that. Yeah.
All the stars align.
Yeah, Tony's like, I don't want to arrange the parts for that.
I mean, I already have it fully arranged.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's ready. He's been manifesting this. Just
yeah, no, let's fucking go. I'm ready. All right, now we hit the instrumental part of this record, which, how do you guys feel about this? Because I feel like maybe one of these songs might have been able to be cut and it still would have been all right, but I'm a stickler when it comes for like sequencing and shit like that. I love dissecting albums and like, be like, hey, person who did this amazing thing that I could have never done in my life, I'm going to tell you how you could do this better.
I feel like a lot of people, this album definitely, it would take a unique attention span if you weren't like totally absorbed into it while listening.
Yeah.
For me, like I didn't realize that it was an hour long until you told me, because I just like every time I put it on, I'm just totally absorbed in.
Sure.
I think it's really pretty, but I could see definitely how it would be a little difficult for a more mainstream audience to like digest. Like, why are we all of a sudden on just like a instrumental escapade here? Like, what's going on? So I can see it both ways. I freak out about stuff like that for like our own stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, this intro is like way too long. People are gonna fall asleep or something. I don't know. So I totally get it.
What about you, Tony? Thoughts?
I love instrumental music, so I really like this track.
I love it's the next one after that, because you have this like 5.5 minute long song and then like a under 3 minutes long song, and I think I just want to get to Exhale after that because that song is so fucking good.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. Keep this song. The next song, maybe put it on an EP somewhere, and then you get to the next one. Sorry, Heretoir.
I mean, for us anyway, the order we put our songs in is intentional.
Of course.
I'm assuming it's the same for them.
Yeah.
But,
I believe it.
we're pretty thoughtful in the order that we choose the songs on all of our albums.
Yeah, and Bioluminescence specifically, I did write down when I was listening to it that the order flow is just exactly what everything that you want to come after, like whatever it was, is just perfect. So no notes there. You guys did it perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always a daunting task. So we sit there and we listen to it like 6 different orders.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's terrible. Like, we have to put a banger at the end, otherwise people are gonna be like, why am I even listening still? So
yeah, I'll do that with playlists, which I know is not the same thing, but I'm sure you get to some points where it's like, well, 2 or 3 of these orders could probably work. Which one that like says what we wanted to say and everything like that?
Exactly. And like for us, the song Slipping Burgundy was like, I was like, oh, it should be the first song. It's so like pretty, it'll like carry people in. And then we thought, oh no, because we did that with album 2 with Healing Grounds. And although the songs are very different from one another, it would feel like, oh, we're just doing the same thing again or something. So we were like, no, that's not a good idea. Let's start with something more punchy and impactful. It's always hard.
Yeah, and since you brought it up, that song is so fucking good. Like, oh my god, like I don't know if they're like the way that the heaviness and the harshness with it combined with like the intimacy and the vulnerability and like the seductiveness in it as well. I don't know if all of those things in extreme music have really been combined like that before. And if there has, I can't like think of an example off the top of my head, but I just like that song like floored me the first time I listened to the album.
Thank you. That was scary for me going into it. It was like my soul left my body and just did the work for me. I don't know. So, like, I came back down into my soul, or I planted my soul into my body again. I was like, oh wow.
Fuck yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, one of those times you're like, what happened? I blacked out. What are we doing?
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah, exactly. One of those songs, and it's very emotional. I definitely did some like pre-writing of lyrics and stuff for that one, and like I really had an idea of like the vibe and the like, the sensuality I wanted to interlace in the music.
Yeah.
So that was like probably like, I don't know, like probably top 2 tracks for me. It's hard. I feel like it's the first time I've had an album where I'm like, okay, this one probably could have sat off the record, but it's so weird and like I've never heard anybody else do something like that. So maybe that's what makes it feel like it shouldn't be here, is because it's like it's a new sound. I don't know. So
no, I'm with you 100%, and the album would just not feel the same if that song wasn't on there. So I'm glad that you decided to keep it on there and not leave it off.
Thank you. Super excited. We did a music video for that one as well. That is, I think aesthetically, my favorite music video we've done. So cool. I'm really excited to release that one soon. Yeah, it's very beautiful. I'm happy with how it's coming together. So we put a lot of effort and time into making the set what we wanted it to be. And so it'll be a lot of fun to release that one. And the photos from it, like best photos we've ever done, because it's just like everything was aces. It's like if I were to pick an aesthetic that represented me, it would be that video.
I love that.
Maybe that's just like pretty vain of me, but
no, that's what you want in your band, right? You want it to like express every part of you, and it feels like just from talking to y'all and listening to everything, it feels like just like Tony, Chelsea, as like people and as musicians and all that are really starting to be represented in this band now and part of this music.
Yeah, I think that's the most exciting part, and being able to entrust in like the other members too, to really put their emotion and everything into it. It's like such a healthy environment that we have as a band, and like I've just never been in a band where we laugh and like get as much done as we do. Like we laugh nonstop on tour. Like it's embarrassing. But like, at the same time, we stick to these like timelines and we just churn out work constantly. So it's just, I can't speak highly enough of my bandmates. So.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome because that's like half the battle is like people can be in great
Yes.
bands, but if they're not meeting deadlines or doing work or getting along or anything like that, like what is going to be the point, you know?
Yeah. There was one of the tours we had. I laughed so much while like driving overnight that I lost my voice. Not because I was doing vocals, but I was laughing too much. And then I was like, I have to be silent for the next day. Like I'm only doing vocals. Nobody talked to me. Nobody made me laugh. It was like the hardest 24 hours of my
Yeah, because of
life.
course everybody's going to want to make you laugh even harder now that
Yeah,
you can't do
exactly.
that.
Like nobody make me laugh. Stop. I lost my voice from laughing too hard.
It's kind of feel like bagpipes almost, like whatever that music, like whatever that like key synth is or
yeah.
something.
I can hear what you mean.
Yeah.
But a much more sonically appealing way, though.
Yeah, definitely. Although, so the Scots during the pandemic have gotten a little wacky. Not that they're not wacky in general all the time. I love the fucking Scots. I'm on the Scots, everybody. But Hand of Cailleach is like a folk metal band that has been like getting all these like Scottish folk instruments in there and everything like that. And Hellripper on their most recent album put some bagpipes in with this incredible Iron Maiden speed metal riff and everything like that. I love it. More, no, I don't want to say more bagpipes, more tasteful bagpipes in music, please.
I like as of recent, like bagpipes have made its way into like my universe or something. Like I've been seeing more and more. I'm like, dang, that's a ripper of a bagpiper. Like they're absolutely killing it. So I'm like, it doesn't sound like a honking goose.
Yeah, just we're gonna fall after this. You just probably gonna be recommending people like Bagpipe Shred or something like that. Bagpipe cover of Master of Puppets. Let's go.
Has to be somebody do that. I've seen
some people
there's
do
an old
stuff recently.
old video of a guy doing necrophagia songs on a clarinet
Holy shit.
from like 12 or so years ago. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it can be done.
I'm sure. I've seen a lot of hurdy-gurdy videos recently, like things like that, mandolin videos, weird stuff. There's the one of the guy who's got that machine. It's like 10,000 marbles, and it like goes through the airs and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
That's
the
crazy.
amount of time.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'm like, my soul just leaves my body. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't imagine the meticulous like planning just to even get to start building it. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, like Tony, you said that you were messing around with some like math core and some like technical stuff and everything like that. Is like, you know,
Yeah.
are you learning? Obviously, you're not building a machine that can play marbles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But certainly, there's some like what I can imagine like backbreaking tedium and trying to learn some of those style riffs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first band, which was around 2006 to 2011, I was in that band. We were really into like Dillinger Escape Plan and Mastodon. I don't want to say we were like as chaotic, even close to as Dillinger Escape Plan. We had much more
Sure.
traditional song structure, but we primarily use like heavy dissonant chords and like choppy rhythmic patterns. And I still take some of that influence in what we do now.
Sure.
I use a lot of dissonant chords in the dance music, even if the way that I'm using them, it may not be obvious.
Well, and we spoke about this briefly with the last record because you said that there was a lot more jazz influence on that record, on the previous record, than maybe were before and stuff like that. Is there anything in this one that where you kind of did that, where you're like, I'm taking music that is not black metal or metal, but stuff that I play and like to play in general that isn't that you imbued into this record?
Yeah, Slipping Burgundy would be a great choice for that.
Sure.
Not that we're fully able to capture, but there's the genre called doom jazz.
Yeah.
With Born and their Club of Gore from Germany is one big example, or Kilimanjaro. I always forget if it's doom jazz ensemble or dark jazz ensemble.
I think it's dark jazz.
And then Chelsea has collaborated with another group called the Lovecraft Sextet, which is another doom jazz group. And so I take that as an influence on what we do. Just the gloomy vibes, like
Yeah.
kind of film noir feel to it. I really find
Yeah,
appealing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very subdued, but
Yeah.
still impactful.
What do you guys listen to when you're not listening to metal? Obviously, like Tony, you just mentioned a whole bunch of things, but like anything that like really sticks out to you that you're like, oh, the people need to know about this non-metal stuff that I listen to.
You want to go first? Or you want no, don't need to.
You go first.
Um,
Tony loves Backstreet Boys.
no.
I tell
could
me
do,
why ain't nothing but a heartache.
Yes.
There's no
Definitely.
shame on this podcast, Tony. You're free to
That-
like whatever you want.
That is definitely something that would not be in my non-metal, not even close.
I play it for him all the
Mm.
time.
I would say I like some synthwave a lot.
Yeah.
Specifically, Gunship would be my favorite synthwave group.
Yeah, I'm
They're
very
so
familiar with the
good.
Gunship. That's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
And then I like Bjork a lot.
Yeah.
So just kind of the avant-garde, maybe trip hop weirdness. So some of that stuff I'll like 90s trip hop, Portishead and things like that too.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Chelsea?
Oh man, I'm all over the map. Like I love listening to like old soulful music. Like I love Etta James. If
Yeah.
I could be reincarnated into a voice, it'd be hers. Like it's
Hmm.
so beautiful. And like I listen to like what do I listen to? I swear. I go through phases, I think, where I love some just like old school rock. Like I love Pink Floyd, I love Led Zeppelin, The Doors, which you can't stand, but I love them
Yeah.
so much. I love Creed just to piss him off.
Also, I
love
can't stand.
when Creed had their comeback, I was like, in your face. Like
This will make you happy, Chelsea, and you probably terribly mad, Tony, but less than like 4 hours into 2025, I was just walking around my house and I was just like, I don't know where it came from, but I was just, home and now I'm
Yes!
6 feet from the
I
edge.
saw
I just-
on New Year's Eve in Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was
Like this
also
year?
saying, hold me now. Yeah, this
Okay,
year.
well,
Like this
I
year.
don't know. Maybe
It
that's
was
why
me.
I was watching.
Like,
yeah, and
dude.
maybe not you. Maybe Scott Stapp was just like so on
Oh
point
my
that night that it was
gosh.
going out into
It
the
was
world.
so,
But yeah,
it was like a lot. Like I loved them, but I didn't expect that much of like a technically perfect performance without extreme aid in like the sound engineering realm, which it was very, very well executed.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, even more respect for them.
I mean, when you can play music for your job, you're
Yeah.
gonna get a lot of practice.
Yeah. Okay, Tony. Don't poop on my Creed parade. Okay.
He'll find any way to do it.
Yeah. I
I will.
I left that night with a Scott Stapp 11 jersey that I paid way too much money for.
Hell yeah.
Came home and I was like dancing in it, you know.
So we're gonna get a frame for this. It's gonna go up on the wall.
Right? Yeah, no, I was committed to it. I was so happy.
That's amazing. I've never seen Creed live. I haven't honestly listened to actually no, that's not true. I tried to listen to My Own Prison like 7 months ago and I turned it off after like 3 tracks or something like that. But when I was growing up, like before I got into like metal and stuff like that, obviously it was like that shit was on the
Yeah.
radio all the time. So Weathered and Clay, what was Clayman? Human Clay? Right,
Human
I'm thinking
Clay,
In
yeah.
Flames. Yeah, I was thinking In Flames, but those were on Tiny Little John Garcia's CD player rotation a lot. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my dad introduced me to Creed when I was like 8, and I was like, whoa.
So
So-
you've been singing for quite a while in your life, then I imagine.
I mean, I think singing for me was like my like little escape. Like
Sure.
throughout my life, it was like, oh, I'm an anxious child or something, and I just sing to make myself soothe or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like as time went on, like I really loved singing and I wanted to do like choir and stuff. And so I would do that as much as I could. But metal came later, like when I was like 17, somewhere in there is when I started trying to do like metalcore vocals or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, it started really mid-range. And like that was like my range was like here before. And like over the years I've just like expanded my horizons. But yeah, it was a interesting journey.
Yeah, what were some of the first things that you were like trying to sing, as far as like with metal goes, when you were just like, you know, trying to get into that?
It's such a bummer because like the band that I like did like my first, I was like, I did it, like I can sing and like I can do metal, was As I Lay Dying.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so like
nowadays, like, fuck. Right.
yeah, I'm like, oh man.
It's okay for the time. When
when you I thought they were like the best metalcore band of that era, at least. Like just I mean the most refined and like professional and well executed on their songwriting, but it's too bad.
Yeah, we all those bands. I mean, one of my absolute favorite bands when I was a teenager was Iced Earth, and you know we saw how that played out and everything.
There's
like
also
that.
Something with one of the members there that
exactly maybe that you know is not so good anymore, but you know still got those memories or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like you brought me here, so sort of in a weird way. So thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you know, as time went on, like I ended up joining a Persian American mellow death thrash band.
Oh yeah.
That called Kinefret, and that was where I really like got my start in terms of being in it, like learning how to be in a band and like writing albums with the band, and that was a lot of fun. Like we did music videos. Like looking back now, it's like, oh, that's so cringe, but
it helped you get to where you are right now. It helped me get
to where I am, and like those people like are people I will love forever. So
yeah,
it's not like it was a terrible experience or something. It was just I didn't really want to do that genre anymore. The band went on like a hiatus, and I was like, okay, like I don't know, and I can't do this band and another band, and hopped over to a different band. Sorry. But like that's where I met Tony, so it's like a really good thing that happened. And yeah, Tony and I wrote music together for what, a year, 2 years or something like that.
It was 1 year that we wrote the first album.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We were being forced. We had the whip cracking at us, and we also I met Ian there, who is in Dawn of Ouroboros.
Yeah,
and Tony and Ian have been in bands together
since 2006.
Yeah,
on and off. Yeah.
So
damn,
it's been a long time, and that guy, he is like unapologetically him, and I just love him for it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm always jealous of those people.
I know.
Talking about, you know, having anxiety and everything. Like I am now at 35, just starting to feel sure of myself and come out of my shell and feel confident and everything like that. The people who are just like, yeah, like can just go and be them 100% every day. 100%. Just like, man, you.
Yes. Yeah. I look at him and I go, damn it. Like it makes me, like, I just admire him so much. And he's such a silly person that you wouldn't peg him to be as good of a musician as he is.
Oh yeah.
Like he's just like he doesn't like have that ego about him. So it's like he's like I'm learning more and more about him every album, and like realizing like, oh, as if I didn't know I was lucky to work with him. Like every album I feel more lucky. So yeah, it's been educational, and yay, Ian. Love you, Ian.
Yeah, that's cute. Like you guys shared feelings and everything like that.
Yeah, like, we like always like we'll message each other and be like, "Hey, I love you."
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, right? We're so black metal. I love you.
Chelsea, you mentioned Alcest at the beginning of the show and everything like that, so I believe that this one contains a member of Alcest in this, and very much has that spirit of the band in this one.
Yes,
so,
this is my favorite song.
Is
it?
Yeah,
it is.
Neej from Alcest doing the harsh vocals on this song.
Okay, yeah.
And the ending we'll mention again, but we've had many car sing-alongs for the ending of this where it's primarily her doing it, and me doing lower mid-range, and then not being able to do the power ones, and my voice cracks, and then I just let her take over.
Oh gosh, this song is like, it might be my most listened to song, honestly, like of like all my songs. anytime I'm feeling any sort of way, it just somehow fits the mold for whatever.
Because it teleports you somewhere. It's just like, out of whatever it is about it, it just takes you out of it and lets you. And so I know sometimes when I listen to open and airy and gazy stuff like this, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm like 5 minutes ahead and I forgot what has happened, just because like it puts me in a spot where I'm just like not thinking about anything and the music is just whistling in the background. And sometimes that's exactly what I need. And there have been like, even with this album, there have been a couple of times where I just kind of like it's there, but I'm not there. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of lost in my thoughts a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. And like, I feel like there's certain songs I listen to and I'm like, I would like kill to perform this song like live, just this most atmospheric performance. Like it's so beautiful, and or like to see them live, like I would totally just like cry. Like you know, like it's so hard because a lot of the bands that I love are not in the US. And I'm like, we just got to get over to like Europe to play, tour, and do festivals. I just feel like we have a better chance there than America, you know? Like,
definitely. Is that something that obviously you know, don't spill the beans if it's not anything you can say, but is that something you're looking to try and do like this year, next year, I would imagine, to try and get out there?
That is where we are throwing our arrow, but
it always
makes sense.
Depends on opportunities and stuff.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
But that's what I think all of us want more than anything. So we just know that once we finally break in and like it's logical to do so, like I think it's really going to gain traction for us.
I agree, and for exactly the reasons that you said, just the sounds and like, you know, there are a lot of American bands doing, you know, black metal and black gaze stuff and stuff like that a lot now, but I mean, obviously the traction is over there, and that's where, you know, so many different I mentioned Roadburn, right? I mean, like so many different extreme metal festivals happening over there, and I hope that y'all can do it, if not this year, next year, sometime soon, because y'all definitely deserve it, and it would definitely be great for y'all.
Thank you. Yeah, we work hard. So it's like we hope that, you know, one day we can do that.
Yeah.
Like those dreams come true. This is the singing part Tony was talking about. Like, I sing it in the shower without any music. I sing it on the road. I walk into the city, and I'm like holding back on trying not to sing it. Like, it's so beautiful. Just can't keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, and the guitar, again, we're talking about the clean tone in this all the time, just shimmering guitars that sound like you can always see them like sparkling in the background, and just like it works so well.
Yeah. Something I'm still working on with my clean tone, just getting it. I don't have it quite right yet, but
takes time.
It's good enough for what we're
I'm always pushing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
A guitarist's search for tone is never done, is what I've been told.
No, it's not, but I'm pretty happy with what I have now.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
This part is so good.
And do a live sing-along.
I do encourage karaoke on this podcast, Chelsea, just so you know.
Yeah?
You wouldn't be the first.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I would might beef that one up just from too much excitement. But yeah, Tony's heard it many times.
Yeah.
He can vouch that it's not just chicken squawks when I try.
I think you've established yourself as a competent singer.
Thank you, Tony. If you hadn't said it, I would have.
I'm not just chicken squawks, whatever that means.
I love this track. These last two tracks, I think, might be two of my favorites. I just love the title of this one, Fading with the Gray.
It's just so good.
Yeah. It just gives you such a it's so evocative just off the bat, the title.
And then it's like you realize the drums underneath are like so simple, like the whole time. It's like this, it's very like it just kind of plays the same thing over and over, but it works so well for some reason. And I'm like, God, like I would be beating myself up, but it works. How do they do that? Back in like 2019, I was like, oh, I'm gonna cover this song. I love it so much. And I was gonna have a drummer do it with me. And then that's when I started to realize, I'm like, oh, like this might not be like the song for a drummer to assist me on one, just because of like not being like diverse, like super diverse drumming wise. But it's like it's so good. It would still be fine. I didn't think they would want to do it. I don't know. Maybe I was just thinking too much, but yeah, I had started doing like vocal covers in like 2019, was it? Yeah. And then I just paused on it when I just got so busy with music and like life, but I just like, if I have time, I'll do something, but it's just not number one priority. But
yeah, now you
fun.
can cover your own band.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, well, I like the challenge, I think, of like trying to do someone else's vocal style where it honors them and it doesn't just sound like me doing the song, but well, paying tribute to them in a way that's like respectful to everything they've created.
Sure.
I don't know. It's hard though. You know, I'm always afraid. I'm like, oh, they're gonna hate it or something. They're gonna message me, say, take it down.
It's like they've almost like panned that sliding riff back between the like headphones or something like that.
Maybe. But I've noticed some effects like that on some of the other tracks with the vocals. But since you were talking about the drums, the drummer on this album, he was a session musician. He's the drummer in Der Weg einer Freien.
Yes. Another one of them German sad black metal bands.
But the drummer that did the session for this album, he's
so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's like one of my favorite albums, like, and that includes the drums on it too. That's just like phenomenal performances all around.
So Tony, you said that if I'm not mistaken, you said that a lot of Bioluminescence was self-recorded and then it was mastered and mixed with the dude who did Svalbard and Rolla Tomasi.
He did all the mixing, and then we had Grant Berry, also in the UK, who's done a lot of mastering of Lewis's work. Yeah, so he did the mastering for our album.
And I assume, since it's just like part of the band workflow, right? You guys are pretty adept at recording yourself and stuff like that now.
That's just pretty much everybody is.
Yeah, well, exactly kind of right. Like, yeah, nowadays, sure.
Like we have to know how to record. I have to know how to use Photoshop. I have to know how to do video editing, and like, so many things that musicians didn't have to know how to do in the past.
Yeah.
Just walk in and. Hey man, can you record my band?
Yeah, light up a cigarette or a joint and just like knock out a guitar solo and then leave. Man.
David has like the most pained voice. That's like so relatable.
Yeah. And it's like I was saying, you don't need to know the lyrics to realize that there's some anguish or some sort of emotion going on in the voice.
Yes.
On top of how dynamic, like, because you can hear the kind of pained melodic voice right here as well, but it works with like, you know, low growls and high growls, and it's like all over the place. And to your point, Chelsea, talking about like you didn't even know this album was an hour long. I mean, we're almost like 50 minutes into it or whatever, and it has just flown by because of how much the songs and the melodies and the dynamics it like capture you and capture your imagination.
Yeah, it's just I just can't think of another album that from front to back. I feel like these days we're so lucky. We get to skip around all the time, and you know, like I'll put on a record. If I listen to a record, it's like I'm genuinely like sitting down to enjoy that, or it's more of an intimate listen, but this is something I listen to digitally all the time, front to back. And like, I can't really say that about a lot of other albums.
And so we did it. This is the title track. My Take My Heart, I felt everything that there's left to feel. Take My Eyes, I've seen everything worth to see. Like, what? Fuck, man.
What torture.
Yeah, dude, to end the album on this was just like, oh my God. I need to just sit in silence for a little bit after this ends.
I just love like the guitar melodies and like
texture.
It's like such a good texture.
I also have noticed the last few years, and I don't know if it's just me listening to more music like this, or if it just feels like this has been a thing over the past like 5-6 years, but these like really high tremolo pickings that go on, I feel like I've been hearing, like, you know, like Svalbard does these a lot in their stuff, right? Yeah.
It's something that's from like black metal music. It's kind
Yeah.
of always been there.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, and like, Serena Cherry and Svalbard specifically is a really big black
Yeah.
metal fan, so it makes sense for them to use that.
Yeah,
But
she has her black metal solo project, which I can't recall the name. But,
Noctool, yes.
Yeah. And then, like shoegaze is also another genre that's very big on atmospheric tremolo picking.
Yes, very much so.
I'm a sucker for tremolo picking.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I wasn't saying that in a negative way because I'm saying like
Oh,
whether
no.
it's
I
like
wasn't
Mole
thinking
or
so.
Violet Coal, just give me those like high tremolo picks. This
Yes.
guitar part right here is incredible.
David's like shrills there. It just feels so organic. And, like,
Yeah.
Got me in the heart.
Organic is a very good word for this album in general, too.
It's just like, how did they even do it?
Like this
Swear.
part here, switching from those high tremolo picks to this now, like low arpeggiating on like, the 6/5 4 strings or whatever they're doing right here is just so good.
They've managed to be organic and like theatrical at the same time. I don't know. I admire their ability to do this because this is the type of stuff that like I love, but I'm so afraid that other people don't, because it's like you have to commit to the listen. And I don't know, when we write things.
Why would you be afraid of other people?
I don't know. Like sometimes, like when we write, I feel like, oh my gosh, like I don't know. I just think in America, maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't do the American thing.
Don't.
It's like, there's no like.
Don't try to worry about what people want to hear.
No, it's not. See, that's why I try not to think.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you start thinking of things like that, and like tech death is really popular here, where it's just ever changing, and like there's something new every 5 seconds, and it's like, are we shooting ourselves in the foot if we write something
I don't think so.
more?
I mean, like,
No.
certainly, like, to try and assuage the anxiety just a little bit, as a music listener and someone who listens to, like, a lot of different, flavors of metal and everything like that, I mean, Dawn of Ouroboros is gonna find the audience that it's gonna find doing the music that it's gonna do, and I feel like the people that are gonna be interested in the music that you do are already, I guess, inclined to like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and listen to an album, or I'm gonna be entranced by these long passages of everything like that. And it's not like y'all are doing like fucking like 15-minute long songs or anything like that either. So yeah, you could, and I would listen to it. I would.
We've done that with our atmospheric black metal project.
Hell yeah, just like 25 minutes of just
like,
it was fine. I think we have a 16-minute song on that one.
It's wild.
Yeah.
That one's definitely committing to the cause there of just do whatever we want.
Yeah.
But it's hard to not get in your head about it,
Yeah, and that's the plight of the artist, right? Is trying to balance that. I talk to so many people as far as like, obviously you have to do what people want to listen to, other than they're not going to listen to, but at the same time you need to do the stuff that feeds you and feels right and feels genuine and doesn't feel like you're doing something just to try and get listens or something like that.
Yeah, it's like there's the whole like always go for the art, not the clout, and like when I get in my head like that, Tony be like, Chelsea, just do what you're gonna do, like just do you. This is what's gotten us to where we are. Just don't think. But then I feel like pressure because we have all these people that have like invested in us and helped get us to where we are, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna let them down. Oh no, it's like it's terrifying. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's the struggles that like everyone's always like, oh, the good times, but no, it's like it's terrifying sometimes.
No, and that's why like I love talking to musicians and have so much respect for people that can do the thing that you guys are doing right now, because it is fucking scary, and for a lot of different reasons, whether it's just being poor or just like having the stuff that you work so hard at being like like I don't know what's worse, like having it just like thrown back in your face, be like this sucks, or people just like walking by it and not even like realizing it. But like I said, after listening to the new album that's coming out, I don't think that is going to be a problem for y'all on this one. I really don't. Again, I'm just one asshole with an internet connection, right? So only take my words with a grain of salt. But yeah, I really think that people are going to love this new album.
That's good.
Thank you.
When I start with the arrangements, I'm just writing something I want to hear, like something I enjoy. That's the only thing I'm thinking about.
There you go. And honestly,
Just-
that's what does it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this big, cinematic ending coming in as we're talking about just be yourselves and put out what you want to put out. Out of here, very fitting.
Yeah.
Oh, and there it is. Heretoir's The Circle. We did it, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. Make it through another album. I paused it so that we don't listen to the debut, or else we'll be here for like another hour.
Hey, we keep going. No.
Yeah, dude. Look. The only thing that I'm doing after this is smoking a joint and going to bed. So like, I am good. So that is the album. Tony, Chelsea, Persephone. What do you think of like final thoughts and anything that we haven't mentioned already? Tony, we can go with you first.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's how many times I've listened to this album. I don't think I've ever like talked about it really.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a new experience with it.
Chelsea, what about you?
Oh, I loved it, like every second. I think for me, it's such a comforting album. I feel like I'm more animated in this like talking session than I would be if it was not one of my favorite albums, Just
Yeah.
because I'm like, it's such a comforting thing for me at this point.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I feel like Heretoir is gonna be like, don't ever talk to her. She's obsessed with us. Like, it's weird, but But yeah, no, very much love them, love their work. So
Yeah, and that's why I, very much try and get people to choose something that they're familiar with and they've listened to 1,000 times, so that they can talk about it and say everything on it. But also, like I said, it was very fortuitous because I had just started listening to this band just a few months ago, and having the opportunity to re-listen to this one and kind of think about it, and listen to Dawn with a new ear almost, as far as like, okay, like hearing the like DNA of this band kind of fuse and infiltrate its way into yours has been very cool. And yeah, it's just been a great experience to listen to this album that both of y'all love so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, obviously Bioluminescence is going to be out. What if obviously we're still early in the year right now. I don't know if there's anything that y'all can tell us about what to expect or anything like that. But I guess, you've mentioned how nervous and anxious you are for this album to get out. You just want it to get out so you could do the next thing. But what are you most excited about for people to hear with Bioluminescence? What are you most excited about for this release? Chelsea, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, I think we did 3 videos to go with this album. So those, I think the 3 singles we chose were the right choices. And I think all 3 are going to be pretty impactful. But on top of that, there's definitely some strange tracks like Mournful Ambience and Fragile Tranquility. It's like very unique, I feel like. So I think there's something for everybody on the album, and it was purely just us kind of opening our minds and hearts and just letting everything spill out. So hopefully it's cherished. If not, it's okay. I'll just pet my cats and go back to sleep.
Tony, what about you, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, we put ourselves into the music we do. We really believe in it. It's representative of who we are, our creativity, varied emotions that we have in our life experience, and the music we create means a lot to us. And anybody that responds to it, we really appreciate that, and it's very meaningful that something we created, somebody can resonate with somebody else, and we hope that people enjoy it, as with anything we do.
There you go, everybody. Check out Bioluminescence as well as all of Dawn of Ouroboros. I can't fucking do it. Dawn of Ouroboros, Dawn of Ouroboros, whatever it is. Go listen to this band, everybody. Chelsea, Tony, I'm sorry for butchering your band name so many times today. It will happen again. I will never be able to say it correctly. It's just how I do it. But thank you so much for sharing your time with me and sharing this emotional album with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
We appreciate you.
Chelsea Murphy and Tony Thomas from Dawn of Ouroboros. That song that faded out was the one that I was gushing about during the episode Slipping Burgundy, the second single of Bioluminescence. Huge thanks to both Chelsea and Tony for taking the time to talk to me about music, about life, about Persephone, and sharing the circle with you all. Dawn of Ouroboros' third album is out on March 7th/now via Prosthetic Records, so go check it out. I envision that you'll probably be seeing it pop up a bunch towards end of year list time. Also, don't forget to go check out Heretoir if you fancy this beautiful type of harsh post-black metal. They have 3 albums to their credit right now, including Night Sphere, which came out in 2023. And so far, I haven't had a bad time with anything that I've listened to them so far. So get some good headphones and slip away into the ether with that band. What are your thoughts on The Circle, on Heretoir, on Dawn of Ouroboros, on Slipping Burgundy, on Bioluminescence, on whatever it is? I am intensely curious to hear your thoughts. So leave a comment in the area below or shoot me a message at spinningthewax@gmail.com and let's get chatting. I love talking music with people. As you know, I run my mouth a whole lot. I could run my mouth about music a whole lot. All right, friends, that is all that I have for you for this episode right here. As always, thank you so much for listening and for supporting the show and all the artists that come on and share the music that they love. The London trip that I got back from not too long ago threw me off just a little bit, as I knew it probably would. So plan on getting 2 episodes the next 2 weeks. Although as of this recording, I'm not exactly sure which order I'm going to publish them in. I have an idea, but I haven't settled on it. But over the next 2 weeks, you can look forward to Catherine Shepard of Sylvain bringing on some Depeche Mode to the show, as well as Zachary and Steve from Imperial Triumphant, doing a cold listen to a band that you probably might not guess in a million fucking years. So look forward to those over the next couple of weeks. You can stay tuned on all the info on our social pages at Spinning the Wax on Instagram and at staypuffed_Malo for yours truly. You can also head over to patreon.com/spinningthewax to support the show directly. As I mentioned at the top, you'll get these episodes earlier than the general public. You get access to my playlist that I meticulously curate, new music updates every week, exclusive content. I almost said explicit content too, but we're not just there yet. I don't need money that bad. And a whole lot more. It's a great growing community. Come on down and check us out. So thanks again, everyone, for supporting us. We will see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe. Stay sane. Stay heavy. Stay puffed.